Welcome back to a special edition of the FloTrack podcast. I'm Kevin Sully. He's Gordon Mack. We are on location in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for the third and final day of the Penn Relays. We have a bonus 30-minute pod here to recap day two, talk a little bit about day three. Gordon, we still got the pickup contest going that folks can enter. Actually, if you haven't entered yet, you scan that QR code. All the races that are in the pickup contest are today. You planned this out strategically, Gordon, so that folks could jump in today. The three questions are about a thing mo in the 600, about the men's 4x mile, and the women's 4x15. So people can check that out. We got your picks locked in there. Gordon, how you doing today? Last day.
I'm doing all right. Hopefully this internet starting off with a bang. Hopefully this internet connection is better. I moved from my room out here. I feel like it's worse for me than it was for when I was in there, but we'll see what happens. So if you guys are listening to this and I'm choppy or Kevin's choppy, we apologize. Just skip the pod and wait till Monday.
No, don't.
We'll talk about everything we
Don't.
talk about a third time.
Contrary to what my co-host says, do not skip the pod. Listen to all of it. Click on all the links. I'm upstairs. See, Gordon grabbed the downstairs room. Gordon tried to do the power move when he got in the Airbnb. He's like, I want the downstairs room where nobody else can bother me. And upstairs, there's 4 bedrooms. That's where I went. The internet appears to be more stable up here. Day two. Let's recap with day 2. We had a bunch of interviews. First of all, if you go to the site, you can check out the interviews. Day 3 is underway right now. But Gordon talked to Oliver Hoare, Sage Herda, South Carolina squad that won the 4x2. BYU women took the DMR. Ole Miss men took the DMR. So you can check out all the interviews on the site. But let's run through these, Gordon. We can go kind of quick here. Some of these day 2 highlights. First, BYU wins the women's DMR. You were on the mic for that one. Did anything surprise you about that race?
I mean, not really. I mean, yeah. I didn't think it was going to be as blowout as it was. I think BYU was like, we're not taking anything for a chance. We are going to make sure we don't leave any stone unturned. And, they went all in on hold on. Someone play music? Yo.
I don't hear it. We're good. I don't hear it.
Gordon trying to coordinate the background audio for the podcast here. Gordon, we're fine.
I'm in the middle of the pod.
BYU women, as we're talking about here. Gordon, no one can hear the music. We're fine. BYU women, continue, please.
Roommates, man. I'm just kidding. No, it's Brian. He's great. He's actually filming something at Penn Relays right now. So I apologize. BYU, like, after the 1200, it was over. Lauren Ellsworth was like, screw it, with 400 meters to go, opened up the 40-meter lead, and then it was over. It wasn't really a race. It was really not. No one could challenge BYU. I mean, I think it showed that if BYU went all in at the DMR indoors, they probably would have won. Arkansas ultimately won, so we'll never know. We'll see Arkansas in 4x15. It showed that BYU clearly is the best mid-distance team when they try right now. So, and we'll see if Arkansas can challenge them. I know BYU is not going really all in on the 4x15. Courtney Wayment's not going to be running it. So it's going to be more of a NC State Arkansas race, the 4x15. But it showed that if BYU tries, they're the best, if not top 3 in the country.
Yeah, they put the A squad out there. They had never won a wheel in school history. They wanted to make sure they got at least one. That was the best strategy to do it, and they got it done. On the men's side of things, a very dramatic race, men's distance medley. We thought Ole Miss was the team to beat going in. They end up winning it, but it wasn't without some drama. Wisconsin got out to an early lead, and then things tightened in that mile leg. A lot of teams were still in the mix. UConn was up there. Virginia was up there. But in the end, Mario Garcia-Romo leads Ole Miss to a Penn Relays wheel.
Yeah, that was an exciting race. Having like 6 teams in it throughout the entirety of the race, came down to the final 300. Romo was kind of trapped. I was thinking Romo wasn't going to be able to overcome the tactical error he made, in that back stretch, because he he knew he had a kick. He had to make sure Olin Hacker wasn't able to just take advantage of the perfect position. Despite having the best kick, if Olin Hacker is, two step you, it might be you might run out of time to catch him. But Mario Garcia Romo, clearly one of the best in the country, was able to make up for a tactical mistake and take the lead. With like the final 10 meters of this race until the final 10 meters. It's kind of wild. It's like being in an NBA game. You don't win. You're not leading at all during the regular time. You tie the game, go to overtime. You're still never winning, and then your final time you go ahead is like with 5 seconds left, and you hit a game-winning 3 to go ahead. That's what it was like.
So it's like being the Memphis Grizzlies against the T-Wolves all series, basically. Is what you're saying?
Basically. Seems uncalled for. Don't need to bring that up.
Sorry, Colt. Sorry.
You know?
My apologies. Let's go back to the celebration for Mario Garcia Romo. This was a top flight celebration. It's hard to pull off good celebrations at Penn Relays because things happen so quickly, and you got to get off the track for the next race. So first of all, it was very time conscious because he didn't wait. He does it right after he crosses the finish line. And it's one thing just to swing the bat. He tosses the ball up and then hits it out of the imaginary park. Look at that. Good form too. Gets his hips through. Amazing follow through. I thought this was an A+ celebration for Garcia Romo.
Yeah. Also, the timing of the camera cutaway, right when he swings the bat, it cuts to the second cam, right on, like it's right on cue. Yeah, they're all coming back, man. Today in the 4x8.
Yes.
The exact same 4. Like they had their 800-meter star run the 400. John Rivera, he was running the 400. So
yeah,
they're going all in on the same 4 squad, going to try to win back-to-back wheels. BYU women, they're doing something similar, except Courtney Wayment is taken out, and they're putting in Megan Hunter, I believe, in the 800. But they're running 3 of their 4 DMR legs in the 4x8. So we could have both Ole Miss and BYU just follow up their performance from yesterday. Just do it again and again here in the 4x8.
And they said right after the race, I was right down there, we're going for another one tomorrow. Ole Miss, like they're not going to be satisfied with just the one. They came here to get the 4x8 as well too. There's a great piece that's going to be on the site today or tomorrow, a little behind the scenes of that men's DMR race, and it was awesome. We've been calling the races. We've been down on the infield as well too. That one I was down on the infield. Just the chaos and the emotion with each passing lap is something to behold. And then the crowd going crazy. Relays just brings out that extra bit of energy from athletes and fans and coaches. Is very exciting to be down there. Speaking of energy, man, high school side of things. We don't talk a ton high school on this pod. Mile Split's the high school experts, but I'm continuing my quest to try to get a T-shirt from every Jamaican school out there. So Edwin Allen and Heidel, send it our way, please. Edwin Allen goes 43-18 with the Clayton twins in that 4x1. It was just amazing performance. They also took the 4x8 Championship of America. And then over in the 4x4, Heidel with Brianna Liston, just another amazing performance. And that home stretch crowd, what would you say the breakdown is, Jamaican fans versus U.S. fans on that home stretch crowd?
It's like 95-5, maybe 90-10.
Yeah.
I'm being
nice.
No, they're all sitting right there, right on the home stretch, right in that finish line. And they get up for every time Jamaica is on the track. And it's pretty wild. I mean, the girls in the high school from 4x8, 4x4, and 4x1, they're all running really well. I'm very impressed. And like you said, 43-18 for Edwin Allen, Penn Relays record. Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Those are high school girls, remember. We're not talking college. Yeah. This is high school. High school.
Yeah. And we'll see. So the boys today, and obviously Jamaica is expected to run really well again. Speaking of high school, I'll jump ahead for a second. Gary Martin, 4:01 in the mile. Wanted that sub 4. Looked like he could do it. Was 61 for the last quarter. Just missed it there, but all by himself. You see the emotion as he crosses the finish line. Just disappointed he couldn't get the sub 4, but the crowd really got behind him. And right after the race, he couldn't do any interviews. He had to go to prom. He had to get ready and get his prom pictures taken, which was a cool story. He's a local kid. You were down there trackside for that one as well, too, correct?
Yeah, it was kind of funny. It's like the most disappointing 4:01 for a high schooler in high school history. You know, it's like we've gotten so spoiled with amazing high schoolers over the past decade, and breaking 4, doing crazy things in relays or 3Ks, and now this guy runs 4:01. It's not a PB at Penn Relays, breaks the Penn Relays record by like 3 seconds, and all he's like, I'm going to prom. Like that just shows how great high school distance running has gotten. That now 4:01 is a new floor for, like, if you would have shown this if you would have showed this time to a person in a time machine 15 years ago, you would have thought that he ran like 4:20 or that. Yeah, it's just crazy. So yeah, 4:01, and your reaction is like, just goes to show you where we are. I'm sure he's going to break it. He still has a few more big races in the docket in May. He's run 4 flat solo. He runs 4:01 in solo and windy conditions. It's going to come.
Yeah.
He has weeks. He'll make it happen.
If he broke 4, sub 4 and prom on the same day, that's a pretty cool story.
Yeah.
Pretty busy day. Pretty productive. So congrats to him. That was a fun race as well. In that evening section, we had those Olympic development races. So we had 800 steeples and then that 4 by mile. Sage Herda, I think, was the story from that evening section, running for On. Broke 2 for the first time in her career. She won that mile title, NCAA indoors, a couple of years back. She's been in the mix ever since. She's put down some fast times. Remember, she ran a fast 8 one year when she was redshirting for Colorado, but she went out with the rabbit. She's the only one that followed the rabbit. And I remember thinking, man, if she this is setting the table for a sub 2, but she's going to have to do a lot of the work herself. And she pulled it off. 159 and change for Herda.
I spoke to her after the race, and I said, like, what did you focus on once the rabbit went off to kind of maintain that pace as much as possible? And she says, I started thinking about running solo 50 meters before the rabbit left. I had to prepare myself. So when she was running down that home stretch, she was thinking through her head, okay, get ready, prepare to be by yourself for this, first turn. You do a little bit of the solo on a 400, and it worked out. She was able to hold on to that pace and break 2 for the first time, and she's looking pretty good now. I mean, mile 1500 meter star in college, now breaking 2 1 year into things are looking good for her for these next few years as she continues to develop.
Yeah, and I think it obviously is good news for her 15, because I would guess that's where the emphasis is going to be, just because it feels like making teams is a bit more possible in the 15 right now than both of them are hard than in the 800. But I liked your interview afterwards with Sage Herda, because you brought up the question that nobody's asking, and maybe still nobody will ask, and that is Sage Herda the next Kate Grace? Which, when you told me you asked her this, I looked at you quizzically for about 45 seconds. What was her answer? Is she?
I mean, people are asking the question. Is she? I don't know. I mean, I asked her.
Strange framing.
She didn't deny. She said, "Yeah, I think about that." Because Kate's in the Boulder. She's in Colorado. I think it is. I think there is some similarities there. You have a 815, not really
Mhm.
overhyped athlete coming out of college. Like no one was talking about Kate Grace coming from Yale. She go to Yale? Is that where she went?
Mhm.
Yale.
Mhm.
Um, you were good. She's one, but like she doesn't have the fanfare of someone who's going like an Elise Cranny going right from Stanford to Bowerman.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that Sage Herder could be the next Kate Grace, where it's kind of like staying low, but continue to improve. PRing early into your pro career, and have to pick between two different events, 8 and 15. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, it was a long day. I was trying to think of a creative question to ask, and I went with that. So we'll see. We'll see what I ask
No.
Sydney Mclaughlin after her 100 hurdles. What should I ask her?
Yeah.
Is she the next? What's she the next? Sydney. Are you gonna impress us with what you did last year again? I don't.
I mean, yeah, yeah. Once you break a world record, I don't know if you're the next anybody. Everybody's the next you who comes after.
It's
The
true.
on 4 by mile record did not end in a record. 16:04. They actually Jay just missed the Franklin Field record that was set by a Michigan squad from 2005. So they go 16:04. The record was 15:49. But the record was out the window early on. The opening legs ran 4:07 between On, Dublin Track Club, and Empire Elite, and that was Ben Flanagan on the carry for On. On, they stacked their team slowest to fastest because then Elmer's went 4:04, Klecker 3:58, and then Oliver Hoare 3:55. They didn't get back in command of the race really until the third leg, but they handed off even. On in Dublin Track Club did, and you asked Oliver Hoare, 12 minutes on the clock. Do you still think you can get the record? Well, he ended up getting the baton at 12:09. So that was a pretty deep hole that he had to get himself out of. But closing 3:55 solo is impressive. We saw Tier close in 3:53. So gives you just a perspective of how hard that mark is.
Yeah, it was kind of a bummer. I mean, everyone kind of knew in the stadium after the first lap that the record wasn't happening. When you're trying to run 15:49 and the first lap is 65, you're like, all right, it's not happening. I mean, I even heard someone say like 10 seconds into the race, say, there goes the world record. And I thought he was joking, but maybe he was
Yeah.
able to tell we're not running 60-second pace for 400. And then from there, it was over. And I was right next to Ray Flynn, who track and field agent, who's part of that team that won it, that record team from Ireland. And he was like,
Mhm.
yeah. I was like, they're not running 60-second pace when he looked at him on the
No.
backstretch. And then when we heard the time
Yeah.
65, we were like, yep, they're not. And I felt bad because when I saw them run 65, I audibly went like, whoa, like as like kind of like it's
Yeah.
not happening. And Oliver Hoare was literally walking right by me, still in like game mode and like go. And you got to think that he was probably internally like, God damn it, like
Yeah.
game all the way to try to break a record, and it's gone 60 seconds into the thing. It's like
Yeah.
it's like being like a yeah.
Well, I was talking with Ritz after. I mean, it's not Flanagan's fault. He's not a miler, and he probably assumed
Exactly.
they're going to go out quickly, and he tucks in, and then you see that opening split 65 or 64, and then you do one more right around that, and then he eventually took on the pace because he's like, listen, we're racing for a fast time here. It's not just about winning this race, because Flanagan, he's faster than 4:07. I mean, he's a sub 4 miler. And you think just, all right, even if he ran 4:01, like definitely could have run, mid 1550s here. I think 1549 still would have been real tough, but you could have gotten a few more seconds. You could have probably gotten 4 or so seconds out of that opening leg just based on the first 2 laps. And then that would have brought them under 16 minutes because Hoare was going to run 3:55 regardless. He got the stick the same time as Sean Tobin did of Dublin Track Club and then just took off. It's not as if he had a faster time because he was able to work with the competition. Now, Klecker, he had someone to chase down on Dublin Track Club, and then he caught Dublin Track Club, and then Dublin Track Club stuck with him. That would have played out a little bit differently, but I think you could have had 4 or 5 more seconds just if you had that pace going out faster those first 2 laps, because Flanagan and all those leadoff runners are, they were capable of a faster time. It just turned into this tactical thing, which is unfortunate in terms of the record. But it was fun. It was fun, and credit to them for putting themselves out there and getting after it. And he said he wants to do it again next year, so we shall see. I want to talk about one race for
maybe you just have to do it once for people to see it, and like then everyone's like, all right, we need to make this happen. On which guys have to pull up because of scratch injuries. Next year, we're going for it. Let's make it happen. We see it's possible. We see what Oregon did. They did it almost with half a squad. On wasn't able to do it with half a squad. Let's put everyone and let's make it happen. And maybe this is the motivation. We needed these failures in 2022 for the motivation to really get it in 2023.
Well, and a lot of groups would have just scratched it, but they just kept sending the next person up. On just kept going through the Rolodex. Rolodex is an old reference. Kept scrolling through the iPhone contacts until they found the next person. Now, part of that obviously is because they're sponsoring the race, the meet. Like they're definitely invested in it, but it shows you can put a team out there. It may not be and produce an entertaining race. It may not be the perfect team, but what's your favorite quote, Gordon? Can't let perfection be the enemy of good. It used to be on the sign behind you when you did the pod. Is that what it was?
Perfect's the enemy of good.
There we go. Coming to an Etsy shop near you, or it's already at the Etsy shop. Anyway, let's do Peyton highlights, and then I want to talk about one race that's coming up today. Highlights from Peyton.
Yeah, so
go.
So Peyton, I would say, kind of start off with a bang, kind of unexpected. Let me bring up the results. Apologize. Should have been more prepared for these results. Sorry.
While you do that, I'll read some comments.
First event?
I'll read some comments.
Yeah, read some comments.
From the chat here. Robert, we met Robert the other day, Gordon. He says, it was awesome to meet you in person at Penn on Thursday. You interviewed me and my friend. Yeah, was that North Carolina Central alum? And he shouted out his high school, I believe. But that was great to see. And he asked about your shoulder, asked about your face. He was very concerned. Great guy. Yeah. All in the Game says the depth of Jamaican girls, not even women, sprinting is scary. Well, and the thing is, it's not even like sprinting. Like you look at going into the 4x8 too. Like they're putting out solid runners in the 800. So across the board, it's incredible what Jamaica is able to produce at this level year after year. So yeah, it's one thing to watch it from afar and to see the times. It's like another to like be there in person and just see the sheer volume of talent that they have. So I've been very, very impressed. Peyton, though, go ahead.
Yeah, Annie Rodenfels, D3 athlete from Century D3. Okay, she had a PB in the steeple coming out of college of 9:58. She won NCAAs her senior year in 10:22 for a steeple. 9:58 PB, wins the steeple in 10:22. 3 years later, 25. That's insane. She shattered her steeple PB by over 30 seconds. 9:25, and it's not like you're going from 10:30 to 10 flat. She's going from, a solid, like a good college time to now, top 5 mark in the US, flirting with becoming a team, like a US team contender. Because in
Yeah.
920, you can contend with now. You're not going with the Frericks and the Coburns, who are going to be more in the 9-0s world. But if you're in the 920s, that sets you up to have a shot. Have a fighting chance at the trials to maybe PB run the 19s and then find a way to sneak on and get a third place finish at the USA's. So big ups to Andy Rodenfels. Very impressed. 925. Yeah, I mean, hell, Courtney Wayment, I think just only ran 926, and we're looking at Wayment as like the next, the next one in line to take on the. And then Andy Rodenfels is like, hey, Peyton Jordan a week later or 2 weeks later running 925. So I was very impressed with that performance.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, all the archives are on the site. You can check them out. Some fast time. Dylan Maggard won the 10,000.
Yeah. Yeah, 1,000 was won in 27:37. Adrian Wildschut ran 27:38, which I think is like a top 10 college time all time. I'm assuming. I don't know. My college 10K top 10 list memorized like I used to. I've been off my game, not memorizing top 10 lists. Also, this race, I tried to. I'm be honest. We're on the East Coast. I tried to stay up for this race. I really did. I was watching all Peyton. I was going through the women's 10K, and then it was 1:30 at night, and I was like, I can't do it. I can't watch this race live. I got to go to bed. So I ended up not race live. So all I'm going off of is just the finishing times. There could have been some wild spill or some wild kick that I have no idea about. That's why I got to watch it live to get those, thoughts. But I mean, it's kind of crazy. Look at this though. Stanford had 3 guys all run sub 27:50. Yeah. Kai Robinson, Cole Sprout, and Charles Hicks. That's pretty impressive for Stanford. And also, I know I like talking about NAU, but NAU has another guy now running in the 1340s, John Shea, who is NAU's 15th best runner, goes out there and runs 1344. Mm-hmm. So it's just crazy to kind of show the depth that some of these college teams are creating in the 5 and 10 all around. And yeah, I think it's going to, there's a situation where it's going to, how NAU ran 1342 to qualify? They ran that last at Mount Sac. And they're like, all right, that'll be good. 1342, they'll get us top 48 in the NCAA. 1342 is 40th in the West. So there's the NAU boys, even though they're clearly Nico Youngs and Abdi Haminers are they're favorites to finish top 3 overall. They might be flirting with not qualifying for West Prelim because it's just so crazy how fast everyone is running these days. I mean, Tulsa has all these guys in there. Wisconsin has all these guys. It's crazy. Mm. And NAU jogging a 1342, there might be a chance with 1342 is the 50th best time in the West, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. 50th best time in the West, 1342. I mean, right now it's not that. Right now I think it's 1346-ish. But there's still a few more weeks of the season left for people to run some fast 5Ks at conferences or whatever. So we'll find out. But I think they're safe, but it seemed like a 1342 should be top 20, but now it might only be top 40 or 50. So anyway, get some NCAA content in the pod.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Another comment. Someone asked why a Navia sub 22 last year did not count towards the collegiate record. It was considered out of season because it happened at the Olympic trials, and we could have a big debate about which performances should count and should not count. But as per the records, it's because it was considered out of season. Women's 4x1500 today. It's part of the pickup contest, so people can select who they think is going to win. Looking like it's going to be a showdown between Arkansas and NC State. You got 2 mid-distance powers there. Arkansas won the DMR indoors. NC State won the cross-country title. Caitlin Toohey expected to run for the Wolfpack. Arkansas has Lauren Gregory. Just give me kind of your 1-minute analysis on this race.
I mean, right now you got to look at it. The first 3 legs are all going to be pretty even. I mean, they're very interchangeable. They have probably 4 to 5 runners who can run those first 3 legs each. We're not talking about Lauren Greatland too right now because they're going to be on the anchor. And I do think, they have women who are in the 4:13 to 4:18 range. And I think if things go as I think they're going to go, I do believe the first 3 legs are probably average around 4:17. And if that happens, again, remember when the record was broken in 2009, the first 3 legs all ran 4:19 each. We're going to have 2 teams averaging around 4. That's a total of 6 ahead of what it took to break the record in 2009. And I think that I think Lauren Gregory and Caitlin Toohey are going to get the stick at the exact same time. And it's just going to be basically an all-out 1,500 between 2 of the best distance runners right now. Gregory, who's focusing more on the 10, 10-5. Caitlin Toohey, who's probably focusing more on the 5, but has some great 1,500-meter wheels. It's going to be very interesting, and I think a lot of people are going to see who wins this. You have the vet in Gregory, who's been around at Arkansas for a while now. I think, was she on? I'm not sure if she was healthy for when Arkansas won the team title in 2019. Was she part of that big group, or was she? She was.
Yeah, she was. Yep.
Okay, so you have her coming off of that. She's been around for a while, all the way back to 2019 when Arkansas won the title in cross. Toohey now coming to form. She's kind of becoming the Caitlin Toohey we thought she should become. She had kind of like a red shirt and a half year coming out as in high school, and now we get to see her she just ran a 15-14 5K solo. So Gregory versus Toohey, it's going to be interesting. I think the odds, I think the favorite is Arkansas, but I think it's going to be on NC State because I think people are going to want to see NC State get the victory. People are going to want to see Caitlin Toohey get the win. And I think it's possible. I can see NC State winning this. I think it's going to be – I literally think they're going to get the stick at the exact same time. That's my prediction. And then we're just watching a Gregory versus Toohey dual meet in a 1,500, which would be fun.
And with the record attainable, we think, for both teams, do you think it's going to take a collegiate record to win this race?
I think it will. Yeah. I think they're going to run 17:05. Mm. 17:05. So I'm going for it.
Record on the line.
Did you see this bet though? Also, that Nikki Hiltz?
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, some bragging rights here are also on the line. Nikki Hiltz posted a Twitter exchange with Ellie Hennis. Hiltz, Arkansas alum. Hennis, NC State alum, daughter of head coach Lori Hennis. And the bet basically breaks down to if Arkansas wins, Hennis needs to wear a Arkansas shirt during warm-up.
No.
And it
No. You got it the other way around.
Yes.
If Arkansas wins, Hennis has got to shave her head.
No. Hiltz is going to shave her head if NC State wins.
Oh, yeah. Got it.
Talk about an uneven bet.
Yes,
you got to be very. You got to be very confident. You got to be very confident in your squad. I mean, I'm picking Arkansas too. You have to be very confident in your squad to say shaved head versus wearing a t-shirt in warm up. But some added juice to this 4x15.
I misread that text message because I thought Ellie was telling Nikki, I'm willing to shave my head. And I was like, Nikki would shave her head because she has short hair. She's had short hair for a while. And I was like, wait, Ellie's willing to shave her head on this NC State team? She must be way confident. Because I don't know if Ellie's had short hair in the past few years. Has she had short hair? I'm not sure. But
oh no.
Now it makes more sense. And Nikki be more willing to shave her head because she's having shorter hair. But yeah, I mean, it is uneven. Wearing a t-shirt versus shaving your head. It's like someone saying, all right, you either got to, do do the dishes for me and give you a tattoo on your face. It's like, what are we doing? You're not an even bet. So,
all right, we'll leave it there. FloTrack Podcast YouTube page, like and subscribe if you haven't yet. If we didn't get to comments in the chat, we'll cover that all on Monday. We'll do a great big recap on Monday's show. Thanks to Colt for producing. Enjoy the final day of the Penn Relays, everyone, and we will talk to you on Monday.